This call is being recorded.
All right, it is noon, so I will get started. Thanks for joining today's simple job search tips people often forget and how you can avoid forgetting them. It is January 20th in 2021. We made it to 2021. Awesome. I'm Meg Riley. I'm the creative lead here for pdxMindShare. I'm also a marketing manager for Anvil Media, our sponsors here for pdxMindShare. So quick agenda going over what you're about to see today. I'll tell you a little bit about me, and then we'll go over a few tips for how to effectively let people know that you're searching and how to effectively land your dream job. Little tips that people are often forgetting, and they can make a world of difference between getting that job and beating out the competition or getting another "sorry, we're not interested" email or phone call. And we'll also talk about follow-ups, which are really important. We learned last year during that podcast interview with Anvil Media's recruiting manager that not a lot of candidates follow up. And perhaps a lot of them don't follow up because they just don't really know how they can do it without being a bother or proper etiquette. So we'll go over a little bit about follow-up procedure and when's the best time to do that. And then we can make some time for some questions and some additional resources. So a little about me. Like I said, I'm a marketing manager and account executive with Anvil Media. I'm the digital creative lead for pdxMindShare, and I'm also a PSU alum. Go Vikings! I have additional experience as marketing manager for my past companies, No Sleep for the Written and GTMA and Finance of America, which has brought me not only knowledge for marketing, but also job searching. So big thing, let people know that you're looking. You have a network of people, family, friends, previous coworkers, neighbors. If you're part of any organizations, those people most likely also have jobs and can be your network. So just let people know that you're now interested, you're putting feelers out there, you would like to find a new job. So you can do that obviously personally when you meet with these people, but you can also do it virtually. On LinkedIn, did you know there's a little mode to let recruiters know that you're open to opportunities? This is an awesome feature because instead of you going out and like hunting people down, this allows people to come to you. So recruiters or marketing managers or hiring managers can look for people who have this feature turned on LinkedIn, and they will sort through the kind of job title or past job titles you've had to see if you are qualified. But this kind of puts you in a whole other group so people can find you. Another feature on LinkedIn is the hashtag. So hashtag open to work allows you to kind of integrate that you're looking within your posts if they're related to your industry, your company, or the job that you're seeking. If you want to either switch industries or if you want a new job title to kind of move up with a new company. Show, don't tell. It's a writing pastime, but it also works with your cover letter and resume. So when you look at a job description or you're on the job hunt, pay attention to the word choice that they use, pay attention to the responsibilities they list when they talk about the day-to-day. Your resume and your cover letter should scream, I'm the perfect fit. I'm the one you're looking for. So the responsibilities that you list that you've had in the past, on your past experience, should closely match the responsibilities that they're saying this job requires, and your word choice should match theirs. Look at their buzzwords they use. If they're looking for an innovative, organized supervisor of some sort, then you want to make sure innovative and organized are there on your materials. Those are the buzzwords that not only the people personally, but also any resume or cover letter computer programs will pick up on. More buzzwords you can include are core values buzzwords. So if they say that their core values are inclusion, make sure that that's included in your materials. They want to work with people who value the same things that they value. So networking, build an insider connection within the company. I think during the job search process, a lot of people will look at current employees to see what the people are like on the team, but also how long they've been with the company, getting your own like sleuthing and research. But not many will actually personally like reach out and message these people and build a connection. People want to work with people they like. So get to know them, have a virtual coffee date or something. Try to build that insider connection so that your name in that resume pile doesn't get missed. You could also take the initiative and reach out to the hiring managers, the recruiters. Say, hey, just checking in. I sent in my application X amount of weeks ago. Take the initiative to put yourself in front of their eyes. And then another great opportunity would be virtual networking events. So on pdxMindShare.com/calendar, we have a calendar of events. Companies are posting industry or business related virtual events right now. And they're doing it, to spread knowledge, to have their webinars, but it's also a great opportunity to connect with people in your industry. So if you're in the IT or tech industry and there's an IT informational webinar, all those people on the attendee list on the right or left-hand side are potential people to network with. So see if you can reach out to them either through some kind of virtual networking chat box, or if there's emails available, reaching out to them and finding them also on LinkedIn. LinkedIn will do virtual events as well, industry-based. Usually you can find them either in the events tab or searching the industry hashtag. So if you are in software engineering, hashtag software engineering or hashtag software engineering event, these events will pop up and you can register and connect there. Doing your research, I think this one gets missed about halfway. A lot of people, of course, look at the company website after they've found this job listing on Indeed or Monster or LinkedIn or wherever. But then they kind of just stop there. They just really want the basic nitty-gritty. They go to the website, check out, okay, what does this company do? What are they about? And then where are they located? I want to make sure my job is going to be close to home. And that's sort of it. I recommend going a little bit deeper than that. So review their social and online presence. You can tell a lot about how the team functions, who the team is, what are the company's values, how they represent themselves online and on their social media. You could also find any talking points to bring up during the interview. Things like any awards they recently earned, recent publications they've been published in. Those kinds of things will also tell you a lot about who they are and who you'll be working with. Look at their core values and charities they support, and any like current pain points they talk about. If there's a certain blog topic or publication topic that they bring up a lot, that could be a common industry pain point. So they feel like they want to get ahead and be an industry thought leader there. But that can give you a really good idea of some of the things that the company is struggling with. And the reason they hire is because they want someone to solve their problems. So a lot of these things can give you insight into who they are as a company as a whole, but also give you great talking material for your interviews. And from that information, you can also create a list of what do you plan to do for them in your first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, creating that first quarter plan. A lot of times people will beat out their competition in the interview process by having that first quarter plan. Companies hire because they want someone to help them. They want to know what you can do for them. So create a list, create a plan, let them know. Keep your materials up to date. I mean, of course, we all know to update any new experience we may have had, update the job title above the summary. I think that gets done quite a bit, but I don't think that a lot of people will update for those buzzwords or for targeting this particular company, or updating for like spell check and just making sure that your resume and cover letter are spelling error free and also grammatically correct, and also makes sense for the person reading it. Every company has a different brand, a different kind of tone. And again, you want to make sure that your materials target that company. They want to work with people that they like, that they think are going to be a good fit. So show that you're already part of the team and that you fit in with them and you speak their language. This also can apply to your LinkedIn profile, although that can be a little more blanket. I think your LinkedIn profile should be updated for you in particular, your brand, your voice, who you are, not necessarily for a company. So when updating your resume, you'll want to customize it to each position. What keywords and phrases are being repeated constantly throughout that job description? Going back to those buzzwords again. I would print out the job description and put a check mark next to common terms or words that are being used. I would also highlight certain tone that is being used, and then in a different color, highlight skills they're looking for. Going back to tone for a second, if you're going to apply to like a bank or a finance company, the tone is more likely going to be more serious and more professional in the job description. But if you're applying to somewhere like my current job, a marketing agency in Portland, the tone was very laid back because they're a small company, we're a small business. So we're kind of a tight-knit team. It's kind of loose, and we're a marketing team, so we have to kind of go with the flow of the ever-changing market and the trends. So we're seen as kind of a trendy company. And so the language was very different from what you'd see for like a bank. So you'll want to match your tone of your materials to that, whether it's serious and professional or more edgy and fun. And then in a different color highlighter, highlight the skills that they're looking for. If they're looking for someone more organized, someone who is more administrative and on top of their game, make sure that your resume says that. If they're looking for someone more creative or innovative, someone more energetic. Make sure your resume says those things instead. Pay attention to those key skill words. Match your resume's target job title to the job listing. So above your summary, where the job title should be, make sure it matches this particular job title. I know you're probably applying to a lot of jobs that are very similar, as in they have similar responsibilities and your day-to-day is going to look the same, but every company calls the same job something different, and you want to kind of customize it to that. And then lastly, remove any irrelevant experience. Not every company is going to care that you worked for the Gap for 2 years, like 10 years ago. But if you're trying to get a job in retail, just doing something to kind of supplement your income until you find your next thing. We all know that quite a few of us suffered job losses in 2020. Then yeah, put that back on there. And then just explain the gap that you've been working in a different career, different industry for the past 10 years. But unless it's relevant to what you're applying for now, it's okay to remove it. Another thing is if you are trying to get back into the career that you had and you spent a year or two working at Starbucks or whatever, you don't want to put it on your resume, but it's okay to say that you've had other work experience in retail or customer service for the past year or two, just to explain that gap. It can be just one italicized line. You definitely do not have to put the Starbucks job on the resume. All right, and your cover letter. By the way, have a cover letter. We learned last year during our podcast episode with Anvil's hiring manager that about a third of candidates don't send in a cover letter with the resume and or their application. Those people immediately get disregarded, at least by most hiring managers and especially ours. So something that immediately jumps out, something that gets forgotten a lot, is that cover letter. So send that in. And just like your resume, it should reflect the buzzwords, the job title, and the responsibilities that were listed in the job description. You want to resonate with the hiring manager, because the person that this stuff is going to most likely wrote the job description. So your target audience is kind of right there. And while your resume should answer the question, why me? The cover letter should answer the question, why them? Why do you want them? It should be very heartfelt. Why did they stand out to you? Why do you want them above anybody else? Because while finding a job is very competitive, finding the perfect candidate is also very competitive and difficult. Companies will find a fantastic, perfect fit, and then that person could get snaked by a competing company. So they also want to know, like, why do they matter to you? Why did you choose them above anyone else? That matters, and that can really put you above the crowd. All right, and then lastly, on the up-to-date, your social media. So particularly LinkedIn, but we can get into others as well. You need to be on LinkedIn if you're job searching. If you're not on LinkedIn, it's as if you don't really exist in the hiring world. This is a great place as well to sell yourself. So showing off your previous career accomplishments. There's a place on your LinkedIn profile to display your samples of your work. So for example, as a marketing manager at Anvil, I often have to write a blog post on current industry topics in the marketing world. And so I display those on my LinkedIn to show that not only am I a writer, but I know about what's going on in the marketing world. So you should hire me because I'm very knowledgeable and I'm an industry leader on this. So I have to stay up to date on these. So it gives a little bit of insight into how you know your job, your industry. It also shows organization. You can tell a lot about a person from their writing style. So from my writing style, you can definitely tell I'm more organized, I'm a type A thinker, and my personality comes through in my writing. And so that gives the hiring manager an idea of whether or not this is a personality that's going to fit with the team. And lastly, sharing your job or industry news on your profile as well. Show that you're interested in your career, you like your career, you are up to date on all the news. You don't want to be in an interview and unable to answer a question about something really important or vital that is going on in the industry that's been like a recent change. You want to seem knowledgeable about your career, your industry, your job, and that can also set forth your goals as well. And then, do you need to clean up your social media? I think so now. I think a lot of times in the past, before 2020, hiring managers had this philosophy that they don't really care what you do during your free time. But now that candidate vetting is more virtual, I think that they're looking past just the LinkedIn. So I think either going through and cleaning up your social media, or if you don't want to spend that much time, just set all of your profiles except for LinkedIn to private, because it is your social media, so it's yours. You should be able to decide what you want on there and what you don't. You definitely don't have to change for anybody, but maybe keeping it private so that way people who don't know you, like hiring managers or recruiters, can't see it and can't really like form a judgment on that. So the pre-interview project, this one is my favorite. It's one of the great techniques that puts you miles ahead, can help you land your dream job. And I think it's also beneficial for you as a candidate, because if you do the job before you even get the job, it kind of gives you insight as whether or not you really want to be doing this. When you land a job, you're going to be working 40 to 50 hours a week, something you're going to be doing all day, every day for 5 days a week. So you want to make sure that you are going to actually enjoy it and not be miserable. So this is sort of a test run for you, and also shows a hiring manager that you can do the job before you get the job. So I highly recommend checking out this article, How to Get Any Job You Want, Even If You're Unqualified, by Raghav Haran. Essentially, he talks about how companies want to hire people who solve their problems. So often that means looking at your past experience and credentials, and that's why experience and credentials like education have gotten a little bit more stingier or stricter on these job descriptions. But 9 times out of 10, it actually means they really just want to hear, how can you help them resolve their pain points or the challenges? So the recent college grad who completes a pre-interview project has a really good chance of beating out the candidate with like a master's degree who just submitted a cover letter and a resume, but nothing else. Whereas the recent college grad may have done the full pre-interview project and like sold the hiring manager on them as a possibility. So here are the common pain points that you can address in your project. Work overload. Sometimes there's just not enough people to do the work that needs to be done during the week. So they want to hire another person to help take that on. Sometimes they need to reduce costs and save money. That's a big one. Hiring managers are often given this kind of objective, hey, while you're interviewing, find out how they've maybe reduced costs or saved money for a previous company. And the last is the need to streamline their processes for efficiency. This also goes in with saving money. The hours that a person spends on a process and, being paid to do this job, it spends money. So if you can find ways to cut down on time, doing the same process, getting the same work done at a reduced hour, that saves money for the company. So a pre-interview project. For myself as a project manager, it could be something like creating a report on a fake mock project that was just completed where I would talk about the roles, how much money was spent, how many hours were spent for each role on my team, and what we completed, what were the benefits, what were any challenges or drawbacks. That is just one part of my job. Another one could be maybe you're in charge of heading up the department that handles case studies. Maybe do a mock case study. There are a lot of pre-interview projects you could do, picking one aspect of the job you're applying for and doing sort of a mock project of completing that project. And then I would submit that with your resume and cover letter and kind of highlight that and point that out in the email or message when you send in your application. All right, now the follow-up. Again, we learned last year during the podcast episode with Mike Terry that people aren't following up. And it doesn't matter where they are in their career, whether they're entry level or senior level, people are just too worried about bugging the hiring manager, or maybe they're just not sure how to do this the proper way. There's an etiquette to follow. But either way, for some reason, they're just not following up. And so Mike Terry's advice was, it's not going to bother them. Follow up with them once a week. You need to show that you have passion, that you care about the job, that you didn't just apply, interview, and then forget about it, or show that you're still interested, that you haven't gone to another company or taken another job. That could be another reason people aren't following up. Maybe they've just found something else. And so a recruiter doesn't really have time to kind of debate that and figure that out. So it's good to show that you're still interested, you're still available, and you have passion for this position. And then a thank you. A little thank you can go a long way. Not many people do send a thank you. I prefer a card. It's not that hard. Dollar Tree has a whole package of cards for just $1, but an email is also accepted. It can be as simple as an email. But following the interview of any kind, phone interview, video interview, which are very common now, and then in the before times, in-person interview. Immediately following those, sending a nice email, thank you for your time. It was great meeting with you. I hope to hear from you soon. Super quick, 3 lines, send and done. That's all that's needed, but you're already ahead of, I would say, maybe half the competition. Not a lot of people do send these thank yous. It shows your potential employer that you're thoughtful, you're reliable because you did it right after the interview, so it shows that follow-up skill there, and that you're passionate about the position. You're grateful, you were honored to get the interview, you appreciated their time. All those are very good things. And then finally, I want to just kind of send off this message of stay positive, because I know that job searching can be very discouraging. And I've been through it so many times, and it's really hard getting so many rejections, and it can make you feel like you should just give up and there's like no point to this. But trust me, there's a point. And it only takes one yes. A no changes absolutely nothing, but a yes can rock your world. So I highly recommend hanging in there and getting support from your support system, your friends, your family, and your online network even. We have a pdxMindShare LinkedIn group, and a lot of our members will post needing some emotional support or some guidance. And it started off really great as just like people were giving her nice comments of, hang in there, you're going to find something. And then it turned into an opportunity. Someone else in the group who was hiring for that position she said that she's been applying for and hasn't been getting noticed, sent her a nice, thoughtful message, and then offered her an interview, and she ended up getting a job through that. So there's a lot of support out there, even online. right, feel free with our last few minutes. Oh, no, it looks like we are reaching the 12:30 mark. If you have any questions, feel free to put it here in the chat box. I'm happy to answer any with our last 2 minutes here. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.